feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me.
The door was never locked, we just forgot how to knock. A quiet return wrapped in echoes. Some stories don't return. They hum, like breath caught in the hinge of a memory. And this week, Taehyung didn't come back. He simply stood still long enough for the world to catch up. A bench in Venice, a name never spoken. It started with a postcard, sent without a stamp. No address, no name. Just a watercolor of a man sitting beneath a willow tree in Venice, facing away. On the back, he never sat alone. He just carried absence beautifully. Locals say he asked the cafe not for coffee, but for the softest chair near the window where shadows fell like lullabies. He ordered silence, and paid with a smile that made the sugar melt too early. Jungkook played a song no one could Shazam. At 3:12 a.m. Jungkook went live. No caption, just fingers hovering over piano keys like he was asking permission. He played a single melody, somewhere between rain in slow motion and memories learning how to breathe again. When asked in comments what the song was called, he replied, "It doesn't have a title. It just has him." Then he went quiet. But the silence thundered louder than any encore. A child in Morocco dreamt of a man made of wind. She said he didn't speak, only hummed into her dreams, until her pillow smelled like lavender and old train tickets. The next morning she drew a man with a bird on his shoulder and a candle in his chest. She titled it, "The One Who Forgot How to Leave." When her teacher asked if she'd seen him before, she just smiled and said, "No, but my silence has." The industry kept asking where he went. The wind kept laughing. Music executives combed Paris, Seoul, and even Kyoto for signs. But all they found were fingerprints on rain, unclaimed Polaroids, receipts for lavender and ink pens, and a metro ticket punched with the time 6:12. No trace, only presence. The kind that folds itself into sidewalk cracks and piano bridges. A whisper in Berlin, a candle in Manila. A sound engineer in Berlin leaked an audio file. No lyrics, no instruments, just soft wind, the creak of a wooden floor, and someone humming in D minor. He titled it Trackless. Meanwhile, a fan cafe in Manila began lighting a single candle every sunset. They don't call it a tribute. They call it a ritual. And the regulars know. When the flame flickers at 6:12, he's passing through. Taehyung is not absent. He's just gone deeper into the fabric. A bookstore in Prague displayed a note in the poetry section. "Don't look for me in fame. Look for me in forgotten gardens. I'll be the vine twisting through the silence." They laminated it, hung it above Rilke, and left a chair beside it for strangers who need to sit with things that don't make sense yet. Jungkook isn't posting more, he's feeling louder. He shared a photo of a wrist, half-lit, with paint smudged in lavender, indigo, and regret. No caption, only a timestamp. October 30th, 2021. Armies knew. That was the night Taehyung disappeared from an after-party early. Not angry, just aching for quiet. This is not promotion. This is preservation. A jazz bar in New Orleans now closes once a week, not for maintenance, but for memory. They play one unnamed track. A blend of trumpet, whispers, and a heartbeat that stumbles at the bridge. Locals call it the violet interval. No one's allowed to speak while it plays. Even the bartender cries without knowing why. The world asks, why the mystery? But mystery was never the point. This isn't secrecy. It's sacredness. You don't ask a prayer to explain itself. You feel it. A poet in Reykjavik left this on a park bench. If love had a library, he'd be the dog-eared page. Between grief and grace. Jungkook's love isn't loud, it's liminal. In a behind-the-scenes clip, Jungkook paused mid-rehearsal. The director asked what was wrong. He replied, "He's here. Let me dance like he's watching." No one asked who. They didn't need to. Taehyung doesn't do comebacks. He creates continents between breaths. And those who know how to listen, walk there barefoot. Not rushing. Not documenting. Just remembering. Final echo, he didn't disappear. He dissolved into reverence. In Iceland, someone left a Polaroid on a stone. A man feeding birds with a paper boat that read, "Songs don't die. They evolve into silence." On the back, A thumbprint in lavender ink. And the words. You don't need to follow me. Just pause when it rains. I'll be in the part you don't record. This isn't about a comeback. This is about what happens when art no longer needs to prove it exists. Because we've already become it. He was never the performance. He was the pause between acts. The ache before applause. Taehyung didn't return. He reminded us we never had to lose him in the first place. Where silence goes when it misses someone. The continuation we weren't meant to wait for. Some stories don't end. They just take a breath. So the world can learn to listen again. This time there were no clues. No leaks. No cryptic lyrics or grainy airport photos. Just stillness. And the sound of leaves shifting somewhere far away, like a sigh finally exhaled. A girl in Florence dreamt of a song without sound. She told her mother she heard a violin in her sleep. But when she woke up, her hands smelled like rain, and the pillow was damp with something she couldn't name. Later that day, she drew a man holding a violin made of tree branches. On the strings, petals. On the bow, silence. She called it the music that waited for no applause. Jungkook went quiet for 9 days, then blinked. When he returned, he posted just one thing. A photo of a shadow stretched across a library floor. Captionless. Except for one emoji, waxing crescent moon. The timestamp matched a lunar eclipse. Fans noticed something else. The books in frame were upside down. Except for one. Rilke. Page marked. Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart. Somewhere in Sapporo, a dancer slipped and cried. She said the floor was wet. But she hadn't spilled anything. There were no puddles. No leaks from the ceiling. Only the sound system, playing a loop of ambient hums and a breath that exhaled every 6.12 seconds. She didn't know the name of the track. Only that it ended with the faint strum of a single string. And a whisper that sounded like, still. The lavender didn't bloom this year. And no one complained. In Jeju, a farmer posted anonymously. Every year, the fields bloom right on time. This year they waited. They stood like a choir holding its breath. He left no name. But locals say a man came weeks ago barefoot, humming into the wind. He didn't touch the flowers. He just sat beside them. As if asking for permission to stay unseen. Taehyung is not hidden. He is becoming. A ceramic shop in Porto displayed a plate. A soft blue spiral etched with the words. He never turned his back on us. He just turned into something gentler. No one bought the plate. They just leave notes beside it. One read. He is how I learned to be soft in a loud world. Jungkook's heartbeat is in D minor. During a live rehearsal, fans captured an audio glitch. A static pulse, barely audible. But musicians recognized it immediately. A heartbeat. Looped. And layered beneath a D minor progression that didn't exist in the original track. A fan slowed it down. Filtered it. Isolated it. It wasn't an error. It was a presence. And maybe even a permission. A church in Quebec now rings bells at 6:12. Not for service. Not for weddings. Just because a child once left a drawing on the altar. A man with wings made of sheet music. And a caption. He sings when we forget how. The bells only ring once. But the echoes stretch longer than most prayers. Comeback has become the wrong word. In Jakarta, a mural appears overnight. A boy standing beneath a sky of static. His chest open, not bleeding but blooming. Beside it, a single word painted in gold. Breathe. Locals bring incense and notes. No signatures. Just phrases like, I didn't know silence could heal until you left space for it. This isn't a second act. This is the breath between verses. An unnamed filmmaker released a 7-minute visual poem titled, Where He Doesn't Go But Still Is. There is no dialogue. Only the sound of chalk on pavement. A child laughing underwater. The echo of shoes walking away, but never out of frame. In the final scene, A man places a scarf on a bench and disappears behind a breeze. Jungkook whispered again, not with words. On his latest livestream, fans heard a faint rustle near the mic. Then, barely audible. He still keeps me warm. Even in August. He smiled. Not to the camera, but to something beyond it. Maybe a memory. Maybe a ghost made of kindness. The fans don't refresh the feed. They refresh their souls. A coffee shop in London offers a drink called Unscheduled Grace. It has no ingredients listed. You order it by saying one sentence you've never said out loud before. Each cup comes with a note that says, "Some voices live longer when left unspoken." He's not missing. He's echoing. In Stockholm, an underground poet left a folded paper on a subway seat. I traced his name into fog. And suddenly the glass remembered how to feel. It wasn't signed. But beneath the fold, a pressed violet and the number 7. Final note, he was never gone. We were just too loud to hear him. He isn't crafting a comeback. He's curating a cathedral made of pauses. Every silence he leaves is an invitation to come closer. Not to see him, but to find yourself reflected in the soft places he made sacred. So if today you feel the wind stop mid-step, or a song you don't know begins to ache like an old photograph, or you catch yourself holding your breath for no reason, maybe he's there. Not asking for attention, but reminding you how to arrive. Softly, like he always did. Like art that doesn't need frames. Like presence that doesn't need applause.